I usually don't make videos that aren't persona or Danganronpa. But when I was talking about this video's topic to a friend, I realized the video potential for this topic. If you decided to actually read the title, you'd know this video's topic is the disappointing fall of MCU movies. And before I begin my rant, just remember it's okay to like any of the movies or shows I mention. There actually is a show I'll be mentioning in this video that I actually enjoyed, so don't make me of all people manipulate your thoughts on something. First of all, I will be introducing the main sections of this video. They are: forced female representation, boring villains that shouldn't have been the main villain, lame jokes that steal screen time from something more interesting, and a lack of risks being taken. Before I start the first section, I'll have to give a list of female characters who I like so people don't make the pathetic comment about me being sexist. Makoto Ninjima, Kasumi Yoshizawa, Chisa Konata, Yukio Amaji, Rise Fujikawa, Kyoko Kurjiri, Piko Piccayama, Ashoka Tano, and Chiaki Nanami. I am terribly sorry you had to witness text-to-speech butcher every name on that list. I'll admit some of these characters are similar in some ways as the female characters I'll be pointing out. But at least some of them had actual character development. And again, before I start this section, it will contain spoilers for most of the Marvel movies and shows and some spoilers for the Star Wars shows. But mainly Marvel, they are the most guilty for this. It's the trope we all dread talking about because people love to call you misogynistic without any proof besides, oh, he hates female character so he hates women. From what I'm aware of, the first character to bring this trope into people's minds was the MCU adaptation of Captain Marvel. I have not read any of the Captain Marvel comics, but if anyone has, please let me know if they are good or not. One of Captain Marvel's biggest flaws as a character is that she is overpowered. I don't mind overpowered characters in media. It can be fun watching a character kill a literal god like it's a bug on the floor, but when they have pretty much no personality traits besides being strong, it starts to become a problem. Other characters fall into this category, but at least some of them have tiny portions of personality that sadly are just, oh, I'm funny, haha. Please laugh. As much as I think Black Widow was a pointless cash grab, Natasha in her own movie didn't really fall into the Mary Sue category, probably because they had been writing her for so long they can't mess her up. While I'm on the topic of Black Widow, why didn't they just get the original version of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana for the opening credits? I understand. Maybe it had cost too much, or maybe they weren't allowed to use the original. But why don't they get the composer to make something original for it? Or just use another 90s song they can afford or allowed to use? Also, a heads up, this video will have a few side tangents. My least favorite of this troupe is Sylve from Loki, because she stole the role of protagonist from Loki. And the cherry on top of this pathetic problem is that the show is called Loki. What I don't like is, besides her inclusion, I really enjoyed Loki, especially episode 5. That was exactly what I wanted the show to be. Unhinged chaos. And then episode 6 walked in and ruined the show with the Sylve and Loki kiss scene. Okay, I was exaggerating a bit, but why was it necessary to have Loki kiss a female version of himself? I'm pretty sure that's self-assist. You could make the argument that it makes sense for them to be a couple because Loki is a narcissist. But that doesn't change the problem. Speaking of Loki, they ruined him in his own show. He is often dragged in the back so Sylve can do her thing. And they betrayed Loki as this silly idiotic goofball who makes a fool of himself. There is no way Loki would lose to those guards on the train in episode 3 unless it was part of his plan. That's enough of this section. I think I'm about to have nightmares about Sylve taking over other media. Another thing I've noticed about the MCU after Endgame was how boring and forgettable the villains are. For examples, General Dreykov, who is so forgettable I had to search for his name on Google. Carly Morgenthau, who was the definition of boring. And Ultron in What If, who was made overpowered as lazy writing. Like, come on, Hulk launched him up to the moon in the movie where he was the main villain. What makes you think he could beat Thanos? Also, while I was writing this script with my friend, she said that she had completely forgot about Carly Morgenthau, which proves how forgettable she is as a villain. To help prove my point, I will be discussing two examples of good villains and antagonists. First off is Darth Vader. What makes him so good is that he is a threat to the main characters whenever he appears, and the yang to the yin that is Luke Skywalker. And I am glad to inform that he is just as much of a threat in the Kenobi show as he was in the original trilogy, and is the breath of fresh air in the toxic environment that was most of the show. The next antagonist I want to talk about is Nagito Komoda. And if you've not finished Danganronpa 2, skip this section. What makes Nagito so great is he thinks what he's doing is right. And he really makes the player question their morals about hope and despair. And making Nagito a twisted version of Makoto Niji was a brilliant idea, to showcase the more toxic blind side of hope. They even gave him a similar appearance to Niji and even brought back the voice actor for Niji to play Nagito. Alongside those things, Nagito has the same talent of Niji being ultimate lucky student. But Nagito's luck is different to Niji's. Nagito's luck is bad luck and then good luck, while Niji's luck is being saved by his own bad luck. The reason Nagito is so into the idea of going through despair so you can overcome it with hope is because of his luck. An example he gave in one of his free time events explains his luck perfectly. It being that he was on a plane with his parents and a bunch of terrorists hijacked it. But then a meteor hit the plane, killing the terrorists but also his parents as well. However, he was able to get a small fortune from his parents. Finally, I got to talk about something positively. But that sadly ends now. Because we are moving on to the next section, which is... Before I start this section, I will admit I don't hate all comic relief characters. Yosuke from Persona 4 is an example of a comic relief character I like. Yeah, most of the jokes that involve him are just him making a fool of himself. But it fits into who he is as a character, which not many characters can say. The purpose of a comic relief character is to balance the tension in a movie, show or game, with them doing something that is usually clumsy or unfortunate or something that's bound to make viewers laugh. Or that's what I'm sure it is. As much hate I'm giving the MCU in this video, I have to admit they've made good comic reliefs. Them being Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy and Korg from Thor Ragnarok. In my opinion, it's when they throw too many jokes at you. And what makes it worse is that in most recent Marvel media, pre-existing characters have been turned into comic relief characters when they really didn't need to be. Most of the time it's not that the jokes are abysmal, they're just lame and there is too many of them. And who thought that it would be funny to have screaming goats be a reoccurring joke in Thor: Love and Thunder? It was passable the first time. But having the same joke multiple times be repeated without a reason for it to isn't funny. I get that humor is subjective, but so are movies, shows and games, and we rant on them all the time, so what makes you think comedy can't be ranted about? Unlike the last section, I will not give examples of the topic done right, because my sense of humor is this picture of Goro Akachi in front of pancakes. So there's no way I could possibly know what good comedy is. I'm not hating on Marvel to be different. I'm hating on Marvel because I am beyond aware that they can make better movies and shows. Some of my favorite movies are Marvel movies, which makes this even more disappointing. The reason why they decreased in quality is because of them realizing that they don't need to try because people will watch it anyway. It's a lose-lose situation. At this rate it's just quantity over quality because aside from WandaVision's first few episodes and episode 5 of Loki, it's been the same boring tropes done over and over again. A lot of people in 2018 to 2019 gave the MCU the criticism that all Marvel movies are the same, and back then they were wrong. But now they are starting to become right. Because of the lack of risks being taken, it has caused me to completely give up on watching the recent Marvel movies and shows. I have only seen the first episode of Hawkeye, and thought it wasn't interesting. I've not seen Eternals. And I've not seen Moon Knight, but I might watch it since I've heard it's good. The other reason they aren't taking risks is they are too afraid of having it not be for everyone. By making it for everyone you lose the humanity of it and it comes off as a desperate attempt of making everyone feel welcome. But really they only do it to avoid being made fun of. When something is designed to be for the target audience and not for everyone, it is a way better experience and is something someone could possibly call their own. To end this video on a somewhat positive note, I decided to name out good pieces of media that took a risk in one way or another and it paid off. The entire Persona series. Danganronpa 1, 2, and V3. Evangelion. The 4-album run of Pink Floyd. The original Star Wars trilogy. And the Back to the Future trilogy. I apologize if this comes off as overly negative tangent about people who damn well won't listen to what I said. Anyway, thank you so much for watching till the end and have a good day.